Welcome to MI Magazine Presents Soul, a weekly entertainment show on fashion, arts and culture, mental health, relationships, travel, and food. Our weekly co-hosts are Carla Hill, Dr. Delvena Thomas, and Chef Irie. Now introducing our host, Miss Nicky Gelin.
Hello, everybody, and happy Hump Wednesday. Welcome to MIA Magazine Presents So I am your host. I am Nicky G. Nicky says YOLO. And I want to start the show by saying that obviously I am natural. And it was quite a journey for me. So I first got my perm, my relaxer when I was 13. And in my late 20s is when I had this awakening to wanting to be more natural, to embrace my melanin, my brownness. And in 2010, early 2010, that's when I chopped off my permed dead hair and decided to rock my natural coils. So at that point in my life, that's when I learned about shea butters and cocoa butters and coconut oil. And for me, it's been a journey, a great journey ever since then. And I'll be speaking to the CEO and founder behind the African fair trade beauty brand, Alaffia. It was founded in Togo, West Africa by Olowo-n'djo Tchala. So I'm so excited. He's bringing the Alaffia brand over to the United States. So I have all these wonderful questions. And it's so great because he is physically hands-on in Africa. I have not ever been to Africa. So right now I'm living through him as far as beauty. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. And here's a word from our sponsor. So Soul is brought to you by the African American Black Alzheimer's Disease Initiative at the John P. Hussman Institute for Human Genomics, University of Miami-Miller School of Medicine. If you are someone that is experiencing loss of memory or memory problems, or if you know someone who has those problems, please contact their research team for more info at 877-686-6444. Again, the number is 877-686-6444. Now let's get the show started. So on to my first co-host. She is our mental health and wellness advocate. She's also the host of the Brain Love podcast. So Dr. Delvena, what is happening tonight?
Hey, Nikki, are you ready to take the couch? Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day Wednesday, Nikki. We're still in National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. July is National Minority Mental Health Awareness Month. So this evening, I want to talk about retirement. I know people are like, why is a psychiatrist talking about retirement? Usually retirement is something you hear about from financial advisors, the person advising you on finances and your savings. But I want to talk to people about retirement from a mental health standpoint and a physical standpoint. As you guys know, I am a physician. I specialize in psychiatry and neurology. And so the points I want to make here include staying healthy physically, right? Because if you have less ailments, if you have less physical problems that you can avoid, there are certain things that we cannot avoid. Sometimes it's just by faith that you develop a certain ailment or an illness, and because you were born with it, maybe you have the predisposition, it's in your DNA. However, there are things that we can avoid, things like diabetes, aka sugar diabetes, aka elevated blood sugar consistently, or the body's inability to manage your blood sugar. We can also avoid things like hypertension, aka elevated blood pressure. We can also avoid things like heart attacks and strokes if we maintain a healthy diet. If we exercise regularly, we should be exercising 5 days a week. If you're not going to do 5 days, at least 30 minutes, you should do 3 days a week, at least an hour of intense cardio activity. Also, people walking every day, because I know sometimes because of your physical ailments or your body, you may not be able to work out as much. So taking a walk, like an hour walk every day, once a day, at least 5 days a week will be helpful as well. So preventing yourself from developing certain ailments that will leave you debilitated or leave you in a state of the inability to manage your weight, because sometimes these types of things, strokes and heart attacks, make it harder for us to be physically active. So if you preemptively do these things like eating well, eating healthy, eliminating the sugar from your diet that you don't need, like sodas and sweet tea on a daily basis. Also drinking more water, drinking at least 64 ounces of water or half your body weight in water if you weigh more than 130 pounds. And also trying to eat the least amount of meat as possible. So not a lot of beef. Don't eat fried foods. Eat more fish, because fish contains omega-3 fatty acids, which help with the brain and help to prevent or slow the progression to dementia. So what I'm saying is to take care of yourself now in your young age and your early ages, so that way when you're older and you're getting closer to retirement age, you're not overweight, you're not bogged down with all of these physical ailments and the need to take a whole lot of medications, because number one, we know in America, health care cost. We do not have universal health care. So that is an expense in your retirement you can eliminate if you're healthy, if you're eating from the earth, if you have a healthy diet, if you're exercising on a regular basis. You can have low health care costs every month, because you won't require a health care plan that includes a whole lot of things to cover all the physical ailments you may have developed through the years, right? And also, if you're not spending as much money on prescriptions, you'll fare better. The other thing is to be mentally sound. Do the things to take care of your mental health. Keep a healthy circle, positive people in your circle. Do word searches and word finds, and read a lot so that you keep your mind keen and sharp and astute. Make healthy decisions, because these physical and mental health decisions will play out well for you in your retirement age. Besides that, if you're able to still be independent, you have a sharp mind and you can take care of yourself, you won't have to rely on living in a facility or rely on family members. You won't be a financial burden, because for the most part, you'll be independent and you can get around. And if you're overweight, work on your weight so that you can do something about that before you get into your older age. Get a personal trainer, work out, clean up your diet. And if you're excessively, overweight, you may want to consider other interventions. So guys, check me out on my YouTube channel. I have different talks and discussions on there, including healthy eating and weight, including surgical interventions to help achieve your weight goals. My YouTube channel is Dr. Delvena Thomas. And on Sundays, listen to Community Matters on 99 Jams with Super Cindy and me at 5 a.m. until 6 a.m. Everybody have a great rest of the week. Say brain love, Nikki, brain love.
Wow, thank you so much. We'll see you next week, and brain love. And now my next co-host, he is a host himself on American Public Television for Taste the Islands. He is a private and personal chef. He's an author, Ricky Smiley Morning Show. So Chef Irie, bloop, bloop, wagwan.
Hey, what's going on? Miami Soul, Nicky, what's going on, girl? What's going on? Ooh, hold on. What you drinking? Anyway, look here. This is a nice, delicious, simple cocktail. It's just pineapple orange and some rum. And I know you have something good in your glass, but here's what. I'm a little upset this week. I'm a little upset because of the food that we're eating, the foods that we're eating. So I'm asking these two questions. What are we eating? And where are we getting our foods from? And why is it important? Well, so my first thing I want you to look at, is this apple. And I have said apple here, and the incredible thing about the way this apple looks, as you can see, it looks good, right? And this is an apple that's been sitting on my counter for one whole month. Fruits and vegetables, one whole month. All right. You look at the slides, on my presentation, and you're looking at moldy lemon, and a moldy apple next to this. We got moldy fruits, strawberries. We even got, moldy fruits that are on trees. All right. This is what we're eating. All right, this is what we're eating from our stores. So when you buy fruits and vegetables and stuff like that, in the bigger storehouses, we don't have to mention their names and stuff like that. They travel a little ways to get to where they need to go once they're picked and harvested. And a lot of times, a lot of these fruits and vegetables are harvested way before they need to be picked or cut or what have you, and packaged and shipped. So you get avocados and you think you're going to get some avocados to eat tonight or tomorrow. That ain't happening. Because you go and you squeeze them, they just got them, they're hard as rocks. All right? You get these apples and other fruits, they're waxy, as this one is. The glossy and all that good stuff. So what they do in a lot of cases to keep these fruits and vegetables on their journey is they gas them. They gas or wax or both. And so this, keeps them longer, all right, on the journey. And we are the manufacturers of said fruits and vegetables. So we ask ourselves, but what are we to do? Well, a lot of us try to go get organic, places to get organic fruits and vegetables and such the like. Well, we make other sacrifices for other things. We'll travel to get, lattes and coffees and all kind of stuff. So here's my suggestion. We can travel to the farmers market. Yes, this is South Florida, and there are tons of farmers markets all over the place. Some are even now coming online. Aventura, I know, has one. There's the green and yellow farmers market over there in Hollywood. There's farmers market down south. There's farmers market in Coral Gables. If you're down south in South Florida, there's farmers market up north in Palm Beach. There's farmers market that's all over the state of Florida. Why should you go to a farmers market? Well, here are a couple of reasons. You're gonna get good quality produce. Oftentimes, it's picked when it's needed to be picked, to be harvested. Variety, you get a lot of variety in your fruits. And of course, like I said, fresh, but you also get to know the farmers. And this is a big community thing. You get to know the farmers. You also get to know where these farms are. Because sometimes you might be living close to a farmer, you don't even know it, so you can get the freshest, of produce, variety of produce, and it is a good trip to make to the farmers market, especially on a Sunday, maybe Saturdays, if you have the time. So that would be my advice, to get the best of your local farmers market. Visit them on the weekends. Don't necessarily stock up on a lot, because if you are a family that eats a lot of vegetables and fruits, get just what you need that will last you for the week. And if you got to go back and get some more, get some more. They'll always be there, So eat fresh, eat well, and think about what you're eating and where you're getting it from. So that's what I got this week for you. It's National Culinary Arts Month. So big ups to all the chefs, all the food places, restaurants out there who are making it big and making it great and are selling and producing and cooking fresh food. Peace out. Yes, Chef Irie. Catch me on Ricky Smiley Morning Show this Friday. Yes, 9:30.
Cheers. We'll see you next Wednesday. And now on to our featured guest tonight. I'm super excited. He is the CEO and founder behind the African fair trade beauty brand Alaffia, founded in Togo, West Africa. So it's Olowo-n'djo Tchala. He's been making an impact in West Africa for nearly 20 years. So Olowo-n'djo Tchala, thank you so much for being our featured guest tonight. I want to make sure that I pronounce your name correctly. It's Olowo-n'djo.
You got that one absolutely correct.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being our guest. So I have a lot of questions. I have never been to anywhere on the African continent. So I'm living through you right now as far as beauty and skin and everything. So
Let's go. You may not have been there, but your soul.
But it's on my bucket list. It's on my bucket list. Okay.
When you're ready, we'll go.
Awesome. So tell us a little about your background.
Well, first of all, I wanted to just say that thank you for the opportunity to say hello to you and your audience. I think it's a humble honor when we get an opportunity to share the motherland and to share what we're trying to do in our journey in our life. As you can tell, I love my colors, and I'm from Togo, and I came from a mother that has 8 children, grew up in a room by 8 by 10, and a father that has 42 children. By 6th grade, I dropped out of school and work in the farm. And part of working the farm is you collect shea nuts during this shea nut season to help support the family. Long story short, and I came to the state and went to community college and ended up going to University of California in Davis, and and going back home and said that I feel that the trade between America and Africa is unjust, and that contribute to inequalities in our communities. And I felt that there's a need for African and African descendant to control the destiny of our resources. Essentially, economic, to me, is a way toward our full liberty. And so to do that, we need to mobilize the community, and that led to the foundation of Alaffia.
Yeah, so what or whom brought you into like the beauty industry? Like, how did you fall into this industry?
I fall into the beauty industry. So first, you have to see how we do things back home. When I say back home, I'm talking about West Africa. The extreme poverty that you grew up on, you don't necessarily go and buy what you put on your skin, what you put on your head. You make it yourself. And my mother, we made shea butter that we use, and from that shea butter we made the soap. So as a child, grew up and in that kind of environment, it is part of you. But the real question, as you asked, what brought me there is the mission. The mission of this organization, as I said earlier, is how do we control the destiny of our resources? And the way that I've thought is the best way is to use the skills that African women have and the knowledge that African women have. That we don't need to import knowledge from America or from Europe, but what we need to do is to use the knowledge that we have. And when I look around, that knowledge is one of it is how to make African black soap, is how to make shea butter. And now we can share that with the world. So it was really, I wanted something that come from our indigenous way of life for centuries and what keeps us beautiful. And I can tell you, not to say that not all women are beautiful, but our women are beautiful.
Oh yes, they're all beautiful. So I just want to envision this. So you said growing up, your mom and your siblings used to like make the shea butter and all that stuff. So were you hands on? Did you actually pick this? So wait, the shea butter is made. It's actually like a nut, right? You have to kind of take it out. Yeah. So did you do all of that? The beginning
Everything
process
that we do is a hands-on. Right?
You must have some real soft hands.
It's a hands-on. Everything that you touch, right? It's really hard to imagine my community if you can try to picture. Grew up at 8 by 10 room with 8 siblings and having a compound of 40 some children. It's not a mechanical world, so it's quite hands-on. And shea trees fall from the tree. Those trees take 25 years to grow, and they'll grow wild over 16 different countries. So you can literally walk all day long just trying to collect 2 pounds of shea nuts.
Wow.
And then maybe you get about 2 or 3 ounces out of that 2 pounds.
Wow.
And so you getting the nuts. When the nuts fall, you have to take the shells off.
Yes.
And when you take the shells off, you have to pound it. Right? It's really the hands-on is beyond the word of hands-on. And so once you pound the nuts, you get the paste, and you got to whip the paste by hand. And then with water, oils start to separate, and you start to skim off the oils, put those in low heat, and then that's when you start to get the non-oil particles go on bottom, the oil come on top. You skim that off, and you have to crystallize it. So you stir it gently, just like making whipped shea, until it turns to a butter. And then if you want to make soap, and then you go, or you just use it directly the way it is. I'm looking at your hair and I'm thinking you just got to use a whole bunch of pure shea butter.
I use a shea butter. It's awesome. It's such a process. Wow. So I know there's a lot that goes into it. And so this brought about the inception of Alaffia.
That's right.
What is the name? What's behind the name? How did you come up with that name?
The name has some aspect of Afrocentrism to it a little bit, right? I felt that fundamentally we are to have a name that represents where the core of the ingredients and reason to be, right? Where we come from. And so in Central Togo, in Benin, in Nigeria, we use Alaffia as a greeting. Even today, when I saw you, I'll say Alaffia to you, go back and forth. I ask about, your goats, your many other things that I can't say live. But the point is not about the person that you're greeting or you're saying hello to. It's what makes up that person. And typically what makes up who we are not just us, the environment around us, our families. We take time to really see how all of that is doing. So in the direct translation in English, Alaffia is a state of peace and health. And I feel that fundamentally that's what Alaffia is trying to do. That's the reason to be. How do we create health and peace? Because we need both to be able to have a community that what I consider to be heaven on earth.
Wow. So basically Alaffia is, I guess, is it like a language?
It is a language, but different. You can see Alaffia in different languages. Let's say the Hausa people, for instance, may use Alaffia or Sendukade for greeting. In my language, the Kaboli will use Alaffia to greet. The Yoruba people may use Alaffia to greet as well. Our languages may be distinct. Our ethnic may be distinct, but there's a thread, right? There's a thread of how do we engage with each other.
Right. Wow. Okay, so I learned like a new language right now. So I can say
there's many languages I can teach you.
Awesome. So what impact has Alaffia made in West Africa?
I think to me, and I do these, first I want to clarify something. The existence of Alaffia is not about let's make money for me as a founder. The existence of Alaffia is really how do we provide hope, right? So when you ask what is the impact, one, in my opinion, a non-tangible impact of Alaffia is that we have been able to create a hope for the future generation. And you have to understand, when you're poor, Togo, my country where I come from, is within the 10th poorest nations in the world. So when you're poor, you need to have hope with the reason why you should live on. And the reason that I think Alaffia is able to create hope, at least in the Central Togo, is that we are able to provide a stable income at a fair, 90% of Alaffia workforce are women. And providing this stable income, and above all, is showing that we can use our traditional knowledge and present that in the global market. What that means to our women back home is that they have dignity and they can contribute to the world. And not only that, they can also send their children to school. So that's a sense of hope. But when we want to talk about a tangible impact, over 250,000 of people today depend on the existence of Alaffia for their livelihood. In addition to these, as I said earlier, why does Alaffia exist is to reinvest in our communities. So you will see that we have provided more than 10,000 bicycles for young girls to go to school so that we can reduce the dropout rate among our female population. In addition to these, we have provided close to 7,000 birth material and safe birthing that Alaffia has fully paid for, 7,000 for women so that we can have safe birth so that our women can stay alive and have their baby in the best condition. In addition to these, we have planted about 100,000 trees. And last and not least, we have also built about 16 different schools. So you see that everything that Alaffia does, not only from the moral economic aspect, but also in the social aspect, there's a comprehensive investment. And when I say comprehensive investment, is investing in all the drivers of the society. And I think there's still a long way to go, but so far I'm very grateful for what we have been able to accomplish.
Wow, those are really great accomplishments. And so you made those impact, those changes. It's always going to be evolving, but now you're entering the United States market as well. So what kind of impact are you looking to make in the United States?
Well, I always look things in the tangible and non-tangible aspect, because I think it's important to look at life that way. In a non-tangible aspect, I think it is important for American psyche and American population in general that African-derived product can compete with the top brands in the world, and we do. Today, we're within the natural channel in U.S. Alaffia is within the top brand nationally in America. So I think psychologically it's important because we don't see enough African brand in the market. We see enough. We see European brands. We see many other brands. We need to be there. After all, I feel like Africa built the world. So it's our birthright to be there. And I think that's important psychologically for the young one to see that as a sense of hope, that they can be entrepreneurs, they can create wealth, and they can use our resources for that. But similarly to what I said that we do in West Africa, that needs to be done here too. Yes, America is the richest nation in the world, but also America has a type of poverty that should not be, especially for our communities. So I'm looking, and if you look in our beautiful Caroline, 5% of our sales are nonprofit, goes directly toward maternal health for our member of our communities here in America. And that's just the beginning. And I think that impact will be very significant because, as you know, we have a bit of what I call inequalities in birthing rights for our women in America as well.
Yeah, wow. Well, thank you so much for even considering the United States as a part of your mission and for wanting to make an impact. And you're right, like, you don't see a lot of, I've been natural from 2010, and I do support like Black owned businesses, but they're, in the United States, but as far as like abroad, I don't really hear much about them. And it's so refreshing to hear that, you're in West Africa, Togo, West Africa, and now you're looking to bring, your brands over here and you want to help the community. So for me, again, I have not visited there yet, but it feels there's some kind of connection.
Well, I think there is a connection, right? If you look through our history, our destiny has been tied together.
Yeah.
It really, and I think that to be perfectly honest, there has been a divide and conquer kind of strategy. And where those of us in Africa and those of us who are African descent, we tend to not come together to resolve the matters in our communities. And I think a bridge needs to be built. And I think clearly there's a lot of healing that needs to be done. And so we can't just look one community. We have to look at ourselves as collectively. And to be perfectly honest with you, it is true. I may be born in Togo. I call myself the son of Africa. So we do need to work together, and all our people all around the world that are descendant of Africa, we're all facing similar challenges. So it only makes sense that we must contribute to our communities wherever we are.
Right. No, I agree 100%. I'm such an advocate. So no, that's awesome. So let's talk hair.
I got some hair.
Yeah, you got some hair.
I think, Nicky, I think you got a lot more hair than I do. I want to grow hair like yours. Yes, I want to grow hair like yours.
You can, fro free, but
Thank you. I'll work on it.
Well, you have do you know what a TWA is?
I won't say much about it. You can tell me.
But you have a TWA. If you don't know, it means teeny weeny afro. So yes, you have a teeny weeny afro, and it's absolutely cute.
Thank you. I'll do that. I'll take you on it. Really, I'll take you on it. I'm gonna go ahead and put lots of conditioner in it.
Yeah, let it fro free. It's meant to fro free. You know,
Thank you.
liberate it. Okay, so
Thank you. Thank you.
so do you believe in hair texture discrimination? And I'm asking you that because there has been, I guess, some hair texture discrimination as far as, I don't know if you know about the type 4, type 3, loose curls versus kinkier curls. So do you feel that that does exist? And what's Alaffia's stance and your stance on that?
Well, I first of all, to answer your question directly and plainly, yes, I do believe that. This is a layer of even a bigger matter of discrimination in general. And so, and I think for when we want to come back to the hair specifically, we're talking about beauty, right? To me, the idea of beauty, the idea of hair, is for so many centuries is presented that it needs to be straight and it needs to be blonde, right? It needs to be a certain way. And so even our youngsters, like you mentioned yourself, you went to be natural in 2010, if I'm correct. So what I'm trying to say is that there's no doubt that there is a discrimination, especially when you're getting to the kinkier side of things of hair. And the discrimination is fundamental. Is really about how you view in the workplace, right? Is what kind of product are made are available to you in the first place. Right? If you're considered and there's no discrimination, then obviously there'll be plenty of product. Yes, there are products out there, but they're full of chemicals. So I do think that the discrimination is there, but that's also part of what we need to overcome. And we need to, it won't take one day, it will take many days. And it will take people like you to show our young ladies that they can wear their hair natural, their hair and that can be beautiful. And that is by example. And I think that work has been done. We just have to keep on moving forward.
Do you see that there's a change being made in media as far as ads, movies, billboards? Like, do you see that? Because based on my experience, you know, I guess the more kinkier coily, it's not as pretty as the looser curls. So do you see that it's evolving as far as acceptance with the kinkier, tighter curls? Like,
you're absolutely right. Even if you look 10 years ago, to see a hair like my type or your type on a billboard, it will not be there, right? So in some ways, yes, there's some progress being made, but it's not being made fast enough, in my view. But it is being made, and it would take time.
It's going to take some time, and progress is being made, but more progress needs to be made. So
exactly, that's precisely what I'm trying to say.
Exactly. So thank you for your stance on that. So this year, Alaffia launched the Beautiful Curls collection. So what makes it different than what's already on the market, and what can we expect from this collection?
You can expect, first of all, I will go back to the way we have begun the conversation, which is why do we exist? And the first thing that you can expect from this collection, that it is made ethically. And I think that's very important. We tend to think about what is good for the user, but sometimes we don't think about how about the maker? How about the communities that actually collect those ingredients, how they're treated? And those are mostly women. Are they treated with dignity? Are they paid fair wages? So what we can expect from the collection of Beautiful Curls, one is that an ethically made product. And the second part is that because why we go natural, even again, using you as an example, is because you don't want chemicals that are harmful to your body, that go back into your fat tissues, that cause cancer and so on and so forth. So we can expect, and it is, like all Alaffia products, are made with the highest standards, and they're chemical free in the sense that harmful chemicals. You can expect that. But at the same time, we all also have busy days, and to earn money is not easy. So when you buy a product, you expect it to work. You expect it to do what you buy it to do. You know, if you buy a gel, you want that gel to make sure that your curls stay curled, and you better do that, right? If you want to make sure that it stays moist, and you better do that. So when we do the formulation and we talk about using indigenous and ancient way that our mothers have done for centuries, I don't need a laboratory to tell me what is right for a woman. It has already been proven through our centuries, through our communities. We have always taken care of our hair. So based on those principles and ensuring that we're using true ingredients, I have to say. True ingredients. Let's say shea butter, for instance, that you're using what I call unrefined shea butter instead of a refined shea butter.
Oh.
The refined shea butter means that we remove the colors, you remove all the various healing properties, all the protective properties out of it, and you're left with just oil, which is most shea butter. Alaffia shea butter is handmade, hands-on, handcrafted, unrefined. So all the various moisturizing properties are still intact. So you can expect that the ingredients are clean and that the ingredients are essentially, to be honest with you, is what does the work.
Wow. So there's like shampoos, conditioners, curly creams, leave-in conditioners. Like you have the whole entire.
I got you covered. You don't need to even worry.
Okay. And this is great because, you know, it's so, for me, what a differentiating factor is that you understand Black and brown people. Your brand understands our hair routine. You understand that it's a part of our lives. It's who we are. And I think that's what makes it so different, because there's so many like companies out there looking to make a quick buck off of Black women because we invest so much.
Definitely. And not only that, of having that understanding is using the ingredients that our mothers have used for centuries. And I think that really matters. I'm not a believer on coming from the laboratory and then say, oh, it's been 2 months, I researched this, it will do this miracle. Life itself is an experiment. So we can, if that's what our mothers and great parents have used in a certain way, then it only makes sense to me. So what I'm trying to say is that if you're using an ingredient that's native to Africa, and we know that's the origin of humanity anyway, then that makes sense that it will work, not only work right on our skin, it will work right on our hair. We have evolved with those native ingredients. And that's fundamentally what Alaffia based when we do formulation. And don't get me wrong, we have to do formulation that are specific for hair type. Different hair type needs more oil. Some don't need as much oil, so it doesn't weigh it down. All of that needs to be considered so that the person, again, regardless of the ethics of the enterprise, the product itself must perform. That is money is not easy to come by. Even $10 is not easy to come by. So the product has to give a result. And I think that's what Beautiful Curls really is. And the name is beautiful. It's a beautiful curl. Curls are beautiful, you know?
They are. All types of curls, whether it's kinky, curly, to wavy, curly, loose, they're all beautiful curls, regardless of how curly it is.
That's right. There's no doubt about that. You can see mine.
Okay. Don't worry, your TWA is nice, okay?
Thank you. If you said so, then it is.
So what obstacles have you had to face, especially being a man of color within the beauty industry?
You know, the obstacles are continuous, and again, that's the reason to be right. I think for me I'm not coming to say, look, I'm doing this because I need money.
Yeah.
But when you're doing something because it's come from your heart and you're doing it because you need to invest back in the community, it means that you need money, essentially, in some cases, to invest in the community, to do marketing and so on and so forth. And as you know, it's not every black man will tell you these, or every black woman, or every brown person. Access to finances is not easy to come by, and that can impede your growth at a certain level. But and in addition to these, I think it's difficult sometimes to be able to explain to women as a man why is this the right product. But the truth of the matter is, that we have to continue. It's not about me. It's not about what I think women are to use. It's about because a lot of those products are created by women. I kept talking about our great mothers and great mothers. Those are not me. Those are women product at the end of the day. But it takes time for people to get to that. And I think that the challenges that we see in the marketplace, there are many products that not only that they lack the moral principles, but they don't tell the full truth. So it's a very crowded place. Yeah, and that challenge on how do you get through the noise is quite challenging. But I'm here, and we're all here. And I think at the end of the day, if you do right, you'll prevail. And Alaffia is and beautiful curls, to me, is not only that it will provide and do what the hair and the health of the hair, but these are another way of continuing this justice that we must achieve as people.
Right. So basically your mission and your obstacles, it's contributing to the community in a sense. Like you're
That's
paying it
right.
forward. You're just helping lives. You're helping women with their beauty and their beauty regimen and the routines, and you're also helping women as well be healthier overall. So it's an overall contribution, and just just repeating that cycle and paying it forward.
It has to be. Without women, we wouldn't be here, right? Well, maybe
Yeah.
somebody else would argue otherwise.
Yeah, I wouldn't be here either if it wasn't for a woman. So how can we find more information? Like, how can we find more about Alaffia, the different products? Where can we buy it online, in the store?
Thank you. First I wanted to say that if somebody asks, how can I support the mission? These what I call the collective revolution. Certainly, it's purchasing the product and knowing that this product is returning the investment back into the community. So that's one greatest way to support us and to talk to the families about it, to learn more. And there's a lot of information on the background of our organization on alaffia.com. And additionally, you can find us on Instagram on using Alaffia as well. As far as where you can buy Alaffia, we are nationwide here in the U.S. Any health food stores, Whole Foods Market, Target, and Walmart also carry our product. And you can also find it on Amazon or on alaffia.com itself.
Wow. Okay. So, Amazon, Target, Walmart, Alaffia.com. I think I said Whole Foods. Okay. No, this is great. I'm so excited. Okay. So what legacy do you want to leave behind?
Well, as I'm thinking, not only as I'm thinking, I every night that I go to bed, I have to think, what have I done to humanity? And the legacy that I wish for and I work for every day and I'll continue to contribute my life to is to be remembered as a person that have dedicated his life to the well-being of women. And I said this because my mother has gone through a bit of suffering throughout her life. And I have decided I'm dedicated my life so that many women wouldn't have to suffer like her.
Wow, she'd be so proud. Thank
you.
I know she'd be so proud of your accomplishments and just your mission and just your heart is your passion for it. So, and thank you for that. So what would you tell your younger self, and how old would you be? This is gonna be a good one.
For my younger self, to be perfectly honest with you, I'll tell my younger self to do what I'm trying to do. to commit to the community, the well-being of community before yourself. That has served me, and I think is the right path in life, and I think is required, given where our communities are. And I'll be saying that probably I was at the age 6, early on. My mother was telling me stories, as early as 5 that I can remember. That could be terrifying, but I think it needs to start early, because there are many things that we learn that we don't learn in school, and those are manners, those are love, those are caring, those are humbleness. All those need to be taught at home, and it needs to start early. School cannot teach us those things, and how do we? And above all, to be proud to be who you are. I'm a proud son of Africa, and I'm happy about that, and I continue to be. I wouldn't want to be anything else.
No, that's great. Wow. Well, thank you. I do. So there's some art in the background. Do you want to kind of explain to us what that is in the background, or what does it represent?
Yeah, I have a lots of art, and I don't see them so much as art as their culture, right? And this particular piece that you see behind you, there are 3 birds over, and those are very old. And this is from Benin. Togo is next to Benin. And essentially is something that's washing over life, right? The freedom of bird, and being any moment in our lives that life can be difficult at times, is to remember that you have these birds sitting there watching over you, and they can fly with you wherever you need to go. But there's something also profound about it, is that the colors are made from different clays. It's not painting, actually. You have that yellow, and that's how our people used to make colors out of clay.
Oh.
And it's also is a woman. There's a lot going on there. There's a lot of hair. I don't know if you can see it. So, and I got 3 of them. There's all kind of stuff here. You gotta come to see it someday.
Okay, awesome. Okay. Well, Olowo-n'djo, thank you so much. This is really just really refreshing to just kind of hear your story and hear how Alaffia came about, the inception. It's very just your passion behind it. It's very touching, and I want to like go right now to Whole Foods or Walmart or Target and just get like the whole collection, because I'm like,
thank you.
So thank you for sharing your story with us, your passion, and thank you for bringing that, for wanting to make a change in the United States with what you did in West Africa. So we'll be seeing more of you, and guys, check out the IG page, go on their website, support, and yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. It truly is an honor to speak to you. And if I may say, we all contribute in life, and what you're doing is a contribution to humanity. And I'm humble to have an opportunity to speak with you.
And I'm very humble to speak with you as well. Trust me, I am. So thank you so much again, and you have a wonderful night.
Thank you.
Thank you. And everyone, don't forget, tomorrow is a Thursday, which means it is Lunch with Legacy Leaders with Anne-Marie Serral. So her show kicks off tomorrow at 12 noon on Facebook.com/MIA Media GRP. Again, visit Facebook.com/MIA Media GRP. And this show, again, is brought to you by the SWA Solid Waste Authority of Palm Beach County and the AARP. So again, thank you so much for being our guest tonight, and we'll see you next Wednesday.